Good morning, friends. Welcome back to the channel. Happy New Year. First video of 2022. Gonna go ahead and check on the chickens and ducks this morning. It's been a hot minute since I made a video. I think it was like October since I posted the video. Seems like a lot of people were worried about me. They weren't, but you guys doing good? Well, looks like besides my buff right there, the 6 birds that are in here right now are the young birds. They're 4 months old, 5 months old now, and they won't go outside. They go into the chicken run, but they will not go out and into the out. It's weird. The rest of the chickens come out, but they're not. This is their first time out since it snowed on New Year's Eve. Started snowing around 9 o'clock. We were predicted to get like 5 to 8 inches, which would have been great. I would have loved it to go sledding and stuff with the kiddo, pulling behind the side-by-side. Unfortunately, we had like 25 to 30 mile an hour winds. And, well, that's all turned into drift because it was pretty dry snow. So, here's the first day. I think we're like 42, 43 degrees right now. Otherwise, we haven't been above freezing for the last 6, maybe 7 days. And, really kind of puts a toll on everything. The chickens, well, I can close them up in the chicken run and make sure there's no air flowing. It still freezes, water freezes, and if they don't have water and they don't have, they need to eat and they need water to eat, if they don't have water for a short extended amount of time, they'll stop egg production. And I don't want to stop egg production to the winter. I want to keep it up as much as I can. The problem is, right now as it is, I get 7-8 eggs a day, and I've got probably 80 eggs on my countertop right now. I give 3 or 4 dozen eggs away every couple of days to friends and businesses locally, and they're appreciative of it. I'm just raising chickens for the heck of it. But man, I've been kind of tied up in the house for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. COVID affects everything, not me. It could affect me, but daycare shut down, businesses shut down. You can't do this, you can't do that, and it is what it is. But tell you what, you guys have been watching these weird weather patterns, and I am not a conspiracy theorist by any means, but it sucks when you have 275 gallons of water and you tell yourself you're going to go ahead and open that valve and drain this tank on one of the 6 days that the temperatures were 60 degrees. All through Christmas, we had temperatures outside of 55 to 60 degrees every single day. And here we are. I forgot to go drain it, and this thing is frozen solid. You can see this pink layer right here. Maybe. I had to go and I went ahead and put a water warmer, like a little de-icer in there, because I wanted to try to funnel it down into the valve. Put all that out so I could break it open. I don't want to break the internal valve, the little gate. Put the de-icer down there, and then it froze up top. Of course, there's no heat around it. Well, then yesterday I got the bright idea. Why don't you get a little, 1-inch auger bit, and I can drill holes around that and then pop that whole section of ice out, and I can pull my de-icer out. A little warming plate thing. Well, I did that. The wire was clear over here. Managed to sit up underneath the ice, and I cut right through that wire with my 1-inch auger bit. Still plugged in, by the way. Stupid for me to do that. It went poof! Big old spark fireball in the water. It was pretty cool, but thankfully I was wearing leather gloves, so it wouldn't have affected me too much. But it did throw the GFCI breaker on the pole, so that's nice. Let me go ahead and test this right quick. Nope. We're about 40 degrees, but that's a lot of, there is some play there, but that's a lot of mass to try to freeze in just a short amount of time. And I tell you what, man, this extension cord has not been out here but for maybe 36 hours. And if you can see that, the rats have already got to it. Man, this is a huge, that's a big 12 gauge extension cord. It's 100 foot long and it is not cheap. And it was only outside for a short amount of time. Man, the rats are ridiculous in the countryside. That's part of it. Anyways, things are going good. Life is good. Like I said, COVID has stopped life a couple of times. I haven't got it yet. Came down with what I believe is strep throat though. A little scratchy, swollen tonsils and that kind of stuff. But luckily, I live and work with professionals every day. And so I'm well taken care of, not too worried about it. And I mean, obviously I'm an expert. I'm a professional myself. But man, things are going great here on the homestead. I know it's, like I said, it's been a while since I posted a video. I've just been trying to wrap up things before the winter came. And that takes a lot of time, trying to finish projects in the house while starting other projects. I'm a man who likes to do multiple things at one time. My wife's not too privy of it, but this is how I function. You know, trying to get tile done in my house and starting to work in my basement and finish that stuff out so I can have more friends and family and to be over and comfortably stay. I've talked about when we first started this project with this house and the property. I apologize, guys. My desires and my plans, can't get this thing to focus right. Maybe here. My desires and plans to really get the homestead going, goodness gracious, for the long term. I have my 1 year plan. Obviously, the 1 year plan was to get the house here, moved in, livable, and the chickens in the chicken coop. That was the big thing for the 1 year plan. This is year 2 of actually living here. We've had this property for 2 years, but year 2 of living here. Intermittently, my plan is to get trees up. We have 80 acres, right? We have very few trees on our property, and so the goal is to plant more and more trees. I've got trees on order again through the Forest Service. I recently planted supposed to be 10, but it turned out to be 9. I don't even know what spruce trees they were, but got those in the ground. And then we're gonna start honeybees. Honeybees are 100% like the center of our food supply, our food chain, and everything. You need the pollination, right? And they exist. They exist naturally, but if you can give them an artificial home and help them grow their colonies to help grow your food locally, man, honeybees are awesome. And there's several bee farmers around here, and they are a whole bunch of knowledge. There's a bunch of knowledge to be had about, well, all sorts of things, but especially, raising bees. I have several really good friends, people I grew up with who are raising bees themselves. They sell honey on the side, for a thing. And I'm not worried about selling honey. I'm not worried trying to make a profit on this farm, on this homestead right now. Number one thing is just to get off the ground, to start the process. And so, like I said, year two is getting more trees planted in the spring and the fall, getting our bees in. I bought my wife a bee kit because she's really the one who is really interested in it. I am too, but she has an itch to start a new hobby and really get going with the bees. Like I said, very important. And so I am going to actually copy and mimic the bee boxes with all the components and everything. And I do a lot of woodworking, so I can recreate those bee boxes. That's really nice, and to have that ability. And then what's the other thing I'm gonna do? Oh, well, all this tall grass here, that is 8 acres of what used to be CRP land. So The previous owner used to get, the landowner, they didn't live here, but the previous owner used to get money for not using their property from the government. It's kind of a scam. It's always been a scam, but it is what it is. It is no longer in CRP, and so not only is that where my shop is going to be placed somewhere, can't stop from getting washed out with the sky and the snow, but I'm going to have some kind of shelter and fencing and stuff, and we're going to do sheep or goats or some kind of livestock. We're going to start getting that stuff going, hopefully within this year. If not, it's not a big deal. That's just my desires. I can at least get the paddocks and stuff built and going from there. We have 80 acres collectively with our buddy. We have 160. We split that land, and so we could run 20, 30, maybe 40 head of cattle, some pairs, some heifer calf pairs, and be very comfortable with the land. They used to run cattle on here at all times. Of course, the piece of the property that our house is sitting on would have to be fenced off and make sure it's protected from the cattle, but that wouldn't take much to do. It's not a horrible thing, not a hard thing to do. So I have numerous goals for 2022 and 365 days to do them. Of course, I've already burnt up 3 of them, so I'm not too upset if they don't get met, but I can at least put the measures in place to start getting them met. If I don't get cattle and other livestock this year, I can at least get the pens and the fencing and that kind of stuff ready to go. I have a close farmer friend down the road. I watch his cattle and babysit them when they're out of town, and they do the same thing for us. My buddy does. We all kind of alternate each other. It's nice to have the knowledge and the people who are willing to help. That's why I love Small Town USA. Speaking of Small Town USA, I actually just got a phone call from the local tire shop, and a replacement tire is in. About 2 weeks ago, I ordered a whole new set of tires for my pickup, and the tires that I had bought a year ago, I got like 21,000 miles out of, and primarily because the road I live on is gravel, and that just destroys tires. If they're like an all-terrain, more of a road tire, it will be destroyed, it seems like, by the gravel. And I was down to like 10 to 15%. I'm like, I gotta do new tires for winter. And so last week, just before New Year's Eve, I think it was Thursday, tires were already in, gotta put them on. They got 3 of the tires mounted and on the pickup, and then they were putting the last tire on the rim, and there's a sacrificial piece on the machine. It's a spoon or something, or they call it a duck bill. I don't know what exactly it was. But it's the piece that you lift the tire up and put it over into the rim, and vice versa for removing. That piece broke. It breaks often, it's a sacrificial piece. But when it did it broke and went through the sidewall of the new tires. And I got Nitto Terra Grappler G2s, and they are fantastic tires. Unfortunately, they didn't have one in stock, so they had to overnight one, and then it was New Year's Eve, and so the shipping wasn't there, and then New Year's was Saturday, and so here it is, the next business day that anything is moving, and it is here. And so they are going to make time on their schedule this afternoon to replace that tire for me. And I actually have one of my best tires out of the old set on the truck right now, and it's not a bad tire. It's just I wanted to have better tread for the wintertime. So like I said, I'm thankful for Small Town USA. I got good friends, good neighbors, things you don't see very often in larger municipalities, or at least they're harder to come by. I'm extremely happy to live where I live. So here's to 2022, guys. Unfortunately, it is without Betty White. God bless her soul. She was a person for everyone. So anyways, keep keep calm and carry on, and I'll see you on the next one. Hopefully it's not 4 months from now. See you later.